What up? It's Cierra Ramirez, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Here, let me show you real quick.
Oh, you have a picture.
This was 2012.
What a throwback. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
It's so crazy. It's been such a long time.
Wow.
Now you've been doing so much since then. Tell me about, your evolution in being part of this industry, whether it's music, whether it's film. Like what's that been like for you?
It's been a roller coaster for sure. It's been amazing. I'm officially out here. I think when I first met you, I was kind of back and forth from Texas.
Right?
Yeah, I've been out here for about 6 years now, and kind of taking it day by day. It's been so much fun with acting and releasing my music as well. It's been awesome.
And it's cool because during that interview, you kept saying how, at the time you were getting ready to do your first film. But you were at the same time talking about how like you want to do music, but it's been on the back burner. It's been on the back burner. And then now you have an EP out. Now you just dropped a new single, Bad Boys.
Yes.
Talk to me about this new single and like what does it feel like for you like to finally do what you initially wanted to do here in Hollywood?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty surreal, honestly, and yeah, I think at 2012, it was something I didn't really want to pursue very young, and now I feel like I'm 23. I have stuff to talk about and stuff I want to say, and it is kind of a vulnerable thing. It's kind of nerve-wracking putting out your stuff for the first time, but luckily I have some amazing fans and people who want to listen, and it's been really, really exhilarating and just really satisfying putting it out there finally.
So talk to me a little more about Bad Boys, the new single. Going into the studio and creating this track and getting it produced, like how different was it? I mean, it's a different approach from Discreet, the EP.
Yes.
So, going into it, like what was your mindset in creating this track?
Well, I mean, this one was genuinely just fun. It was something to put out at the end of the summer with some island vibes. Right. And it's something that I think a lot of, people can relate to, or girls, just the idea of a boy who is no good for you, right, who is going to break your heart, but then they're just so much more exciting than the good guy. It was a lot of fun to make, and it was one of the first songs that I had actually heard from the Aristocrats, who worked on a lot of the songs on my upcoming LP. And yeah, it was something and so different, like you said, from Discreet. Right. This whole new project is way more pop. My first EP, Discreet, was a lot more urban, and so it's, this is kind of a taste of it with Bad Boys. It's unlike anything that you've ever heard from me.
Right, and it's great that you waited some time before you actually release music, because I don't think it would have been great to release something like Discreet at such a young age. Right, like absolutely. It's such a risky record.
Well, and the thing is about it too is like, I play 16 on TV, exactly, and people just genuinely think I'm 16, but I'm like, no, I'm 23. Like, I'm a grown woman, or kind of grown, know. But yeah, it's definitely time.
So now you're in the studio with Harmony Samuels as well, right?
Yes.
Who I met last year. I went to the studio. I was working with one of the bands that he was like producing, and like such a cool dude, and like just the vibe around him is just insane.
Absolutely.
And that I wasn't even there to record my music, like. So what's it like for you to like go in and produce and create stuff with him?
It's amazing, and he's just an amazing guy. His whole team, and yeah, when we're all together, it's just good vibes. You're constantly laughing, and it's just so much fun. And I think at the end of the day, that's when really amazing things happen, is like when it's just genuinely you're having fun doing it and having fun with the people around you. I think we really made some awesome stuff together.
Now, what's been the writing process like for you? Like, how do you feel like your writing has kind of evolved?
I've gotten into it a lot deeper with this LP, but I have been co-writing with some awesome people, and I'm still kind of getting into it. It's a nerve-wracking thing, and it's different. But I think awesome things happen outside of your comfort zone, so I've been really into that, and I think that something that was missing from Discreet was something very personal, and I think that this LP is a lot more personal.
So being that you're going to get more vulnerable on this record, how are you able to do that? I mean, you're working with producers you don't know. You're working with a co-writer that you don't know. Like, you're showing it to an audience that you don't know how they're going to feel. Like,
right. I mean, you just definitely have to share your stories and be willing to tell your situations and talk about relationships and stuff like that, all of the hardships and ups and downs. There's fun songs, but there's also some heartbreaking songs, and yeah, I think it just kind of goes like back down to the whole idea of who you're with and the vibe that you create together. And if you're comfortable enough to share that, then it's it's gonna happen.
Right. And you know, some artists like say that it's harder to write a fun song. Some say it's harder to write, you know, a more vulnerable personal song. What was the case for you?
I think probably the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just think it was like, I feel like I kind of had a lot to say this time, or at least, you know, I really resonated with a lot of the songs too that I didn't write. And yeah, it was just all very relatable. And it's something too that I've been very passionate about my whole life growing up in Texas. I loved country music and I loved the storytelling of music. So yeah, it's been fun.
Now, when you go into the studio with these producers, like what do you feel has kind of challenged you as far as like creating your music?
Well, I mean, the whole idea of going into a room and kind of throwing out ideas, and you know, it's a scary thing, especially with amazing people who are just, you know, have made their name known and have written great things. It's like, it's kind of scary to throw some ideas out there, especially when you're like, no, that sucked. Back to square one. But you know, it is helping me grow as a writer, and hopefully I can, you know, write a whole song myself one day.
What was that first track that you ever wrote with a producer and they were just like, you know what, that's not gonna work?
There have been a lot of those that will never come to see the light of day, but you know, it's all about putting yourself out there and yeah, just being vulnerable and living in that.
Right. Now, the thing I like about Bad Boys is that it's such a simple song lyric wise, but it's like such a great song. Like you can't get it out of your head.
Thank
you know, in creating that, like how did you create that track specifically?
Well, that one I didn't write. The Aristocrats did, and I mean, I genuinely, I mean, you know that sample,
Right.
So it drew me in right away. I loved the whole island take on it, and I just knew I wanted to be a part of it.
And you know, with other work that you're working for this LP, like why did you feel this was the track that you wanted to release before anything else?
Well, it was kind of a nice reminder, you know. I think also, you know, because I am so lucky to have the acting side. A lot of people, I'll get it on my Instagram all the time. It doesn't matter how much I post about it or whatnot. They're like, "Oh, you sing?" And I'm like, "Yes." It's how I got into acting, actually. But you know, it was a nice reminder to be like, "Hey, remember me? I'm a singer," and look forward to new music soon. So it was a nice little like end of the summer, wrapping it up, kind of island fun vibe.
Very cool. Now you got to drop a music video for this track as well. You've been in the film world, you've been in the TV world. Now you've done the music video shoots. How different are they, or are they alike in any way?
They're definitely a lot alike. I think, and it helps being in that world as well. But yeah, and it's funny too because this is kind of like a separate answer. But people ask me like, well, what do you like more, acting or singing? And I think that they kind of go hand in hand in a way, because when you're acting, you're playing a role, and when you're singing, you're kind of getting into a character and kind of getting into a mindset. So I think they definitely go hand in hand, and the acting side has definitely helped me with music videos for sure.
So you've also done some producing on your own for TV.
Yes.
You know, is that something that you also take advantage of? Like when you go and create your music videos, are you like full on those music videos, or do you let someone else come in and take charge of that?
This was kind of the first time that I was able to like really just have an idea and see it come to life, which was really amazing and really fun to be a part of. And yeah, the whole team. I worked with a director named Rod, who was awesome, and yeah, it was just it was a dream come true, honestly.
Now, what's next with you as far as the music goes? The single's out now. People are loving it.
Thank you.
We want more.
Definitely.
So what else?
You will get more. I'm working on an LP that should be wrapping up, and we should be releasing early 2019.
Okay. Tour dates, maybe? Do we plan on seeing you
Shortly
on
after,
tour?
for sure. That's definitely in the works.
Okay. Now you got to open up for Earth, Wind and Fire.
I did.
What was that like? That's one of my favorite bands. So it's
so
like, what was
funny.
that like?
I was so young. I think I might have been 10. So I didn't really realize how iconic that was.
Right.
You know, Earth, Wind and Fire in Chicago, and yeah, it was. I mean, I genuinely have the most fun when I'm performing or on stage. So I just remember it being so much fun. But if I could tell my 10-year-old self, I'd be like, girl, go get that picture.
You got to do that again.
Absolutely. Definitely.
You definitely have to do that again. So, you know, when you are creating your music, obviously you're thinking of a tour and stuff, but does that really have a big influence in the way that you write your music or the way that you create your music, the way that you're going to perform it?
Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, I really hope that people resonate with it and relate to it, and that would definitely help, especially in the touring and, you know, just hearing people sing along and everything like that. But, Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about it, and I just want to get out there and perform my songs.
And like you're busy with TV and film and you're busy with music. How do you kind of balance those two? And, you know, how are you able to memorize lines, but at the same time, like be able to focus when you go into the studio and create your music?
It's definitely hard, and I've come to realize that they're two completely different worlds in the sense of like scheduling. Yeah. Like acting is, they're both very demanding, but acting is like, you know, you wake up at like maybe 5 a.m. and get off work at like, who knows? I've worked 18-hour days sometimes, but then the music industry, they're such night owls. And so like just to flip a switch like that is crazy. But you know, I mean, I am so passionate about both that it really drives me, and that's what keeps me going. And I'll always make time for both. And my singing, especially now, I have time off. I just wrapped up the first season of a spin-off series that I was on. So now I have a couple months off, and I'm really promoting the music the way it deserves.
Now, being that you've been in this industry for so long, like what do you feel has been, whether music or film, like what do you feel has been like the biggest challenge for you?
Honestly, probably balancing the two. Yeah. And, you know, I think good things take time. So I think my music, you know, it's coming out at a great time. But, you know, I just really want to get it out there for the world to hear. But yeah, definitely balancing the two, and you know, I'm lucky enough to do both. Not a lot of people are able to, so yeah, just taking it day by day, and you know, just trusting the process.
Do you think you'll ever have to put one down in order to pursue the other?
Most likely, probably, yeah. And I would choose the music. Sorry, acting.
Well, thanks so much for reuniting with me, and you guys, if you guys haven't heard her new single "Bad Boys," it's awesome. You guys got to check it out. And I mean, why haven't you heard? I thought you guys are a fan of her. Like, what's going on? Well, thanks for hanging out with me. You guys be sure to check out the single. Thanks for watching here on Front Row Live. And don't forget, click that subscribe button.